Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Torino è e rimane bianconera. Torino the city is and remains black and white. I tell you immediately, it was quite difficult for me to start the video, to choose my storyline. How will I build up today's video? Because you know that I love to share stories when I'm recording videos. Everything has sense, or at least for me, when I'm recording a video, when I'm editing a video. Well, I couldn't find it because there are so many stories that I could start with. Milan, that crazy narrative about the goal of Pulisic, but also the individualities, the story of Gatti, Massimiliano Allegri, and the records in Serie A, the performance that was not fantastic. I had so many stories to share, and probably I will have to split it in two different videos, otherwise it will be, a 1 hour video, and this is not what we want. But at a certain moment, I found a picture online and I decided this is how I want to start my video with a picture of Federico Gatti celebrating with the Ultra. Not only because Federico Gatti, he scored that goal and is probably, thanks to that goal, forgetting that awful performance and own goal against Sassuolo. Not only because the Ultra are back, but because of the harmony of that picture, because of the hidden messages of that picture. We see someone that is taking that flag fino alla fine, until the end. And I'm not only speaking about the game of yesterday. I'm not only speaking about a season. I'm speaking about the history of Juve and the support and the love that we have for that team until the end. That's what we have to do. We have to fight even in difficult moments until the end. We go to another banner. Siete unici. You are unique. Because yes, even in difficult, tough moments, for me at least, they are unique. My team is unique and I will love them more than ever. And then I've spotted a supporter with a t-shirt, Stronger Together. Should I translate it? Absolutely not, because the message is in English. The message is universal. And this is what the derby win represent for me yesterday. Stronger together. All together, we are stronger. And that's what we showed yesterday. If we go towards the bigger picture at the end of the 90 minutes, what do we see? The team super happy, celebrating as it was a long time ago that we didn't see them celebrating, because it was really representing a crucial point of our history, of our season. Before celebrating the 100 years of the ownership of Agnelli, well, we see our team going really to the Ultra with all these beautiful flags. We are going there, we are celebrating together. If we want to also speak about the individuality, about Federico Gatti, who else deserved his first ever Serie A goal more than Federico Gatti yesterday in the Derby della Mole, in a game that is representing grinta, fighting with your legs, with your brains, but especially with your heart. Well, nobody. The story is beautiful. Federico Gatti alone with the Ultra, there full of grinta, not only on the pitch, but even after the game, going with a fantastic celebration, showing his fist, saying, yes, we did it. Well, beautiful stories. And then if you are giving me the icing on the cake, the cherry on the cake, and you show me a picture of Gleison Bremer with a bandage alla Giorgio Chiellini, the number 3 and the number 3, ragazzi, then I'm enjoying even more, especially if you see then on social media, on Instagram, when he posted that picture, that Giorgione, il capitano, is also approving it. Fantastic, beautiful images, my friend. And yes, if we want to go towards the performance, what can we read in Tutto Sport? La Juve fa festa. Juventus is celebrating. They are building up a party. Torino, il Toro fa I regali. Torino is doing the gifts. Because it's true that if it was not for the huge mistakes of Milinkovic-Savic, probably it would have been difficult to open the goal, to open the score. Well, thanks you to Torino with the beautiful gift, but especially for us to celebrate. And if we're speaking about gifts, well, we didn't speak about it a lot on the channel yet, but there is another one that made a beautiful gift to Juve. We are speaking about John Elkann, 200 million. Another capital increase for some people that were doubting the love, the link of the ownership with Juventus, people that were thinking maybe it's time to sell, it's time to find new owners. Well, what else do you want as a proof, as an evidence that the club, the ownership is still behind Juventus Football Club? If you're looking at the titles, John è il futuro della Juve. John is the future of Juventus. We start again from year zero. Ripartiamo anche da base più reali. We start again from more realistic fundamentals basis. What and why am I speaking about that one? Because the victory of yesterday, and we will go through the performance in a second, is probably not the most beautiful one. It's probably not the best performance that we ever delivered. And you're totally correct. Some people will even speak about a really boring game. I want to say boring first half, probably. But even with all these kind of things, a victory yesterday was fundamental. I told you the 100 years, but not only. If we want that these 200 million capital increase means something for the future of Juventus, well, we have to qualify to the next Champions League. And how can you do it? Only with victories. Look, if we are comparing what we did last year after 8 match day in Serie A, we were there with only 3 wins on 8, 4 draws and 1 loss, which means that we had 13 points on 24. We were already far from that top 4. This season, with all the criticism, and probably a lot were correct, we are there at 17 points out of 24. Should we have done better? Absolutely yet, I agree. But still, we are doing much better with already 5 victories in 8 games. So it makes sense to say, yes, it is the year zero, because Juventus is not perfect today. You will tell me, yeah, but the continuity, Max Allegri is still there, it's the 3rd year. How many times we will speak about rebuilding, restarting a project, and so on and so on. Well, Juventus is starting with more realistic fundamental, understanding that Calcio, Serie A, is in a difficult moment, that the entries of Serie A will probably not be enough to compete with the big teams, that we'll have to be creative, that we will have to be sustainable, but also trying to find ways, different ways, to go back to find new fundamentals, solid fundamentals to be back being Juventus. And the 200 million capital increase of Juventus are there, a proof that Juventus wants to go back. Clearly said yesterday by the owner John Elkann, Juventus needs to go back. And that's why that victory of yesterday, without Chiesa, without Vlahovic, and unfortunately without Paul Pogba, that a lot of time we are forgetting, but it was part of our midfield in match day 1, well, ragazzi, it is super important. And that's why Tuttosport is correct with their title. Godi Juve, enjoy Juve, because even if not everything was perfect, and it will probably not be until the end of the season, perfection will probably not be reached, we have to enjoy it, because it's giving us the possibility to go closer and closer to that first step, top 4 qualification to Champions League, and then maybe dreaming. And if you're listening carefully to Giuntoli, to John Elkann, to Scarnavino, even to Max Allegri and the players, they are all speaking about a minimal objective of top 4, and then we have to desire to do more if we ourselves deserved to have that opportunity to fight for the Scudetto. So don't forget that. Now, if we speak about a bit about the performance before speaking about Milan, Serie A, Inter, and so on, well, you see that the lineups of yesterday, Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Weah, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic, Miretti, Ken. A lot of people had some question marks. Why not Fagioli? Why suddenly Weston McKennie as a midfielder? Beppe, you always told us that it would have been impossible to see Weah and Gatti together simultaneously from the first minute. Why no other striker? Why not Kenan Yildiz instead of yesterday Miretti, second striker? Well, tactically, before the game, I was trying to explain that that move of putting Weston McKennie as a right midfielder had sense, and I totally understood it. With Weah and Gatti on the right side, if both of the players would have gone up, it would have been a disaster in the back, because we would have left so much space, so much room, and with Weston McKennie tactically being the player that would have been able to cover them, you know, the team would have been more stable, would have been less in danger defensively. And that's why he made sense. Also, doing that, we would have seen a Miretti that was not obliged to cover that right side like he did versus Sassuolo, for example, giving him more opportunity to play his role in linking the midfield with the only striker, Moiskin, to be a bit that creative mind. And you know how much I like Miretti. but we'll come back on Miretti, because then if you are looking at the kind of positions of the game with the starters, what do we see? That triangle, Gatti, Weah, McKennie, is super compact. You see there in the kind of heat maps with the dots, the position of the players, they were there. So what I anticipated and the choice of Weston McKennie there makes totally sense, not only in what I was telling, but also in what we saw in the field. The problem, of course, is Miretti, because if you see the number 20, that is closer to Locatelli than to Moiskin, something was not working in that first half. Look at that picture that I found on the net from Twitter, Don Lippi, I believe. You see that in that phase, we have a problem. We have a problem to start building from the back, because Gatti, Bremer, and Danilo are not the perfect players to start building from the back. So we need to find a solution. Who is doing it? Locatelli, dropping down, taking the ball, and Danilo this time that is going more up as a midfielder. Can be a good idea, but if we have the other two midfielders, Weston McKennie and Rabiot, that are hiding behind players, if Danilo is hiding behind an opposition players, we have difficulties to start building from the back, and we are obliged to play horizontal more than vertical. The other solution would have been the long balls that we didn't see too much yesterday. So that first half, again, offensively, when we have the ball, we are not able to find solutions. We are blocked, and we tried a lot of time to go to that right side of the field that was really compact, never on the left side. It was a problem. So our way of building, our way of being creative didn't work for another time. That position of Miretti had no sense because we were not able to find him. Look at that picture. Where is Miretti? So we were not able to find him, and when we found him, with a miracle, he was not able to link up with Moiskin. So the good decision of Max Allegri in second half was to sub Miretti out to replace him with Milik. Milik, he said it himself in Gazzetta, in Tuttosport, in post-game, he was not ready to play 90 minutes. He also added that in the occasion that he received since the beginning of the season, he didn't took the opportunities to play better, but yesterday he did, because yesterday I would nearly say that he was man of the match, Milik. Why? Because he changed it together with Max Allegri, but they changed the game. If you're looking at the second heat map with the subs on, you see that Milik is not playing in the box of the opposition team, but he's already playing much higher on that field than Miretti was doing. Look at the difference, and it's not a coincidence that from the second half, when he's entering, Juventus is creating more. You will tell me that, but yeah, we created more. The 2 goals are coming from set pieces. How many times will I repeat you? I don't care where the goals are coming from, because set pieces are changing the history of a game, are changing the history of a tournament. How many times did we see games resolved by set pieces? They are part of the game. A penalty, a corner kick, a free kick, they are part of the game. Of course, it can't only be that in 38 games of a season. We need more solutions, but I take them. And yesterday he was able, Milik, but also Gatti and other players, to be there at the right moment, exactly where they needed to be. So I take them. And especially if we know the history of Juve, well, I believe the last 7 derby, if I'm not wrong, you have to go on Telegram because the stats are really written there exactly, but I believe that the last 7 derbies have been decided by set pieces. Why? Because a derby, ragazzi, maybe for people that are not from Italy, that are not from Turin, they don't really understand, but the derby is the derby. It's a tough game, it's a difficult game, and they are most of the time resolved by players' individualities, by a Federico Gatti with his heart more than with whatever you want to. And who's deciding it and maybe understanding it is a Max Allegri. 13 wins in derbies. He's the coach of Juve that won most derbies together with Trapattoni. Trapattoni did it in 31 games against, of course, another Torino. But Max is able to win 13 out of 17 derbies. Not only that, because since yesterday, he's also the coach that had the most successes, the most victories in the era of the 3 points of Serie A. 289 total wins for Max Allegri. If we want to continue in terms of percentages, well, he's there on top of Serie A wins because he won 61% of his games in Serie A. followed by Ancelotti 57, Capello 55, Spalletti 52, Trapattoni 51, Marcello Lippi 48% of victories in Serie A. You can discuss how much about Allegri you want. You can say that you like him, you don't like him. You can say whatever you want, but if we are speaking about facts, about numbers, with the team that we have, that is not at the level of other teams, and we spoke about it since the beginning of the season, well, what he's doing, you can like or not, but you have to admit it. He is the coach that at the moment is bringing Juventus at 17 points out of 24, without Chiesa, without Vlahovic, without Paul Pogba. And thanks to the victory of yesterday, we are still there, sticking close to the top 4, with Milan now first with 21 points. Inter, that yesterday drew against Bologna, 19 points. Juventus is there at 17. And today they can be possibly reached from Napoli or Fiorentina, but not both teams because they are playing together. And you know, if we're entering the last part of the video, the narrative, then we have to pay attention to something, starting with Inter. Yesterday they drew against Bologna. There are 3 teams that Juventus and Inter played against that are the same. Empoli, and both of the team won against Empoli. Sassuolo, and both of the team lost against Sassuolo. The third one is Bologna yesterday, that both of the team drew. So we see more or less when they are playing against the same team that they are going with the same results. What about Atalanta? Well, Inter didn't play yet against Atalanta, so I'm expecting a draw of Inter against Atalanta. But it's the narrative that is shocking. If we are speaking about an Inter leader already winning Serie A and so on, and they are doing exactly the same results as the one of Juve, attenzione, then what are we speaking about? I'm curious about the game of after the international break, Milan against Juve, because the last time Inter won 5-1, they don't have Maignan, they don't have Theo Hernandez. Attenzione, who knows, then maybe we lose 5-1, but if we can win 5-1, I would be absolutely happy. Look, if we are speaking about something else, now we have to speak about Milan, and that's really the last part of today's video. Milan, yesterday, I saw that mega zoom, the ball on the hand of Pulisic, scoring that 1-0. And I'm thinking, attenzione, today when I will open Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, La Stampa, La Repubblica, whatever paper you want to, they will speak about it. Milan, non così. Like we saw a few years ago, Juve non così, Juve not like that. I was expecting Milan not like that, because this is a clear steal. This is something totally strange. It is crazy that they accepted that goal, reviewing it at VAR. The excuse at the moment is, but we don't have a clear image that he touched it with the arm. Anyway, I was expecting a bit of controversy on the pages. What do we see? Milan da pazzi, crazy Milan, celebrating Giroud and Theo Hernandez. Giroud that at the end of the game had to go in the goal. Are they speaking about that goal of Pulisic? Not really. We don't see it. There is no picture. There is no Milan non così. Corriere dello Sport maybe. Golivier, because yesterday he was in the goal and he saved the goal. Fantastic, by the way that he went out. Beautiful. Pulisic scores and Giroud is saving. Milan is taking the lead. Are they speaking about that controversial hand of Pulisic? Absolutely not. So I needed to investigate a bit more. Milan flies in the hands of Giroud. Read the title. Incredible final of the game, end of the game. Goal of Pulisic, Maignan, red card. Olivier is saving. Pioli alone in the head of Serie A. They are not mentioning that Pulisic is probably touching the ball with his hand. Zero controversy. Then they're speaking about the referee. They are giving him a 4.5 for the fact that he didn't see the arm. Absolutely not. Piccinini, 4.5. He's actually taking the lead of the game. He's managing the game well until the crazy end of the game. Then he's really going totally crazy. Big, huge mistake. Because when Leao was going towards the goal of Genoa, he whistled to give a yellow card to Martinez, the goalkeeper. That was the second goal, the second yellow card. So this is why they gave him a 4.5. Not because of the hand, not because of other criticism, no. Because they actually stopped the game to give a yellow card to the goalkeeper instead of giving the possibility to Leao to go and score that 2-0. Are they speaking about it? Yes, they are. On page 7, you can see really small that they are showing that zoom that is nearly covered by the title and saying Furia Genoa. Genoa is a fury, and they are obliged to speak about it because yesterday it was the president of Genoa that spoke in the microphones and not Gilardino, the coach, because they were pissed off. But they are not speaking about it. Look at the space in the double page that they are giving to that fall of hand of Pulisic. They are even giving more space to Mutan dance. That is actually the underwear dance. Looks like I am dancing there on a pole. They are giving more importance, more space to the ad of the underwear than to the hand of Pulisic. What are we speaking about, my friends? What are we speaking about? We are speaking about a Milan that their fall is hidden. They don't want to show it. They want to hide it because they prefer focusing on other narrative. And I can even accept it if it would have been like this every time. But if Juve would have done the same and winning 1-0 at the 93rd minute with a goal like that, mamma mia, disaster, collapse. Anyway, this was it for me with so many stories. I tell you, I repeat you, celebrate a win when you can. That is coming from a corner kick, from a penalty kick, from a free, for whatever you want. Celebrate a win without forgetting that we are not perfect, that we are at the moment not a Scudetto team, but if we continue like that, all together we will be stronger. And when I'm saying all together is the belief and investment of the ownership, the ultra that are back supporting their team, the grinta, the love for the shirt of Federico Gatti. All together we are stronger. Grazie, forza, Juve.